We are live. Good morning, everyone. This is episode 116. We're actually all here and a little bit early. So Chill's just grabbing some water, and then we will actually kick off. So thank you all for coming.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
And while we'll be introduced properly by Chill, that unfamiliar face is Jacob Houseman.
Hey.
Author of a guide from ages ago, the Rank PvP Guide, and various tweets we've been reading of late.
Teo, did you like that one? Do you remember that one?
Yeah, Teo.
Yeah,
sounds like Max the Great, Teo.
He pronounces a lot of words a little strangely,
yeah,
so whatever, I thought.
Is he not in the chat room yet? He was here last week.
He is not.
Chat room.
I am back.
So how many do you have mastered now, Chill? Or Teo?
Mastered? How many, Starfighters?
Mm-hmm.
I'm only playing the one. I'm sticking with the Starguard. That's my ship.
Okay.
Oh, did you see the new one came out in the cartel packs? You could only get from the cartel packs? Oh.
An interesting change. Yeah. We'll be going
It's
through...
fine. If you want to start all over, go for it. I'm not wasting my time.
I am waiting, Fred, until February 4th, and I can use all of those requisitions.
Yeah. I'm pretty hyper-focused on my the three ships I've chosen. So.
All right.
Well, I'll probably end up talking about it more in the show. So.
Okay. Tweet. Apparently, yes. All right. Chill. You good? Ready to go?
All right. Well, it's a little early. Is that all right?
It's just fine with me, and I'm sure the audience doesn't mind. All right. Everyone got their Audacity actually running?
Running it now.
All right. And do not switch it off until right at the end.
Okay.
Teo will tell you when, actually.
Yeah, just so we try and sync it. Just makes it a little bit easier for me. Red, are you good? Are you ready to start?
I am good.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Chill.
Yep.
All right, going in 5. Hi, and welcome to the OotiniCast. Our ally is the Force, and a powerful ally it is. This is episode 116, being recorded on Wednesday, January 15th, 2014. I'm your host, Chill, and with me is my co-host, Teo. Hi, Teo.
Hey, guys.
And our guests today are Red and Jacob. And Jacob, you're new to the show, so let us know a little bit about you and what you've been up to.
Hey, gang. Well, yeah, thanks a lot for letting me be on the show. I'm just a big fan. I really like the podcast. You guys are really positive, and SWTOR does need to work on some things, but I like the fact that it's positive, upbeat. You know, you go into details about things. I am a big PvPer in the game. I've been playing since launch. I play both sides, run a guild on the Prophecy of 5. Do a lot of team ranked solo queues. I really like the game. I really do. I've met a lot of cool people inside the game, outside the game, and I really like it. So I've been following this podcast since the inception, and just glad I can be here and give some PvP stuff.
Awesome. All right, so what you been up to like this week?
For me specifically, I don't know about if people know about the PvE weapon thing that you can do, but basically BioWare responded to a thread about expertise. They created their own thread on the forums, and I got it in the show notes. And then basically people have been manipulating the system to make it best in slot, not PvP gear.
Right.
In fact, there's a new way to do it where you use level 45 mods, and you get about 100 more endurance than the Oberon, and more tech or force power, and more power, and more. I'm not going to stoop to that level, but so I've been trying to grind PvE mods and kind of just work that out and stuff like that. And I've noticed a lot of the PvP community is just gone. I think playing Galactic Starfighter solo rank queues have been real slow, and I think they're all just trying to milk new people jumping into the the Galactic Starfighter scene. I've just been playing a lot of solo ranked. We get on every day and we just queue hours solo ranked, and it's been a lot of fun.
All right. Do you play Galactic Starfighter at all, or do you just stick with ground PvP?
I did at first, but to me, I need something that has a leaderboard. I'm not the top by any means, but I want to show, I guess, how good I am, or think how good I am, or prove it somehow.
Right.
And Starfighter really doesn't have that for me. And when I started, oh my gosh, I sucked. I was just getting blown up every 10 seconds. I couldn't turn. I couldn't target anyone. It's like going through the PvP all over again, basically. Learning how to target, learning how to. I don't know. I just felt like I was flying around, turning most of the game instead of like actually shooting people. And so I, rage quit, Alt F4, and that was about it.
All right. It sounds good. And how about recently? Have you been in like preparing for the class changes or anything like that?
Yeah, so a couple of things that I heard people talking about in the forums, the operative nerf to orbital strike and the power tech. A lot of people don't understand why that's happening. What was happening in 4-man ranked is people were running 2 healers and basically 2 tanks, okay? And they would cast orbital, and they just sit in the orbitals with 2 healers while everyone was mezzed, and they would basically insta-die. No one could beat the 2 healer comp. No one could beat them. It was impossible. So basically what was happening is they made that change to orbital. Well, people don't know why that was made. The same thing with the power tech. The power tech, or Vanguard, Ion Cell, Middle Tree, which I've tweeted and talked about, is just so ridiculously powerful. Why? Because you can do as much DPS as anyone. You can tank. You have a self-heal when you get low. You're basically just a wrecking ball. Well, they're nerfing that, so now your big AoE damage, your big area damage has to be used in a specific stance or cell. So really, those 2 things that they're nerfing are really good nerfs for the game, for solo rank specifically. Commandos and Mercs healing is just so underpowered and underwhelming that it's a very, very good thing that they're buffing them. So I think the changes are really good. I have a Vanguard as my main right now, so I'm kind of testing out the viability of running the whole Middle Tree Ion Cell thing, and it just doesn't work. So yeah, it's going to be good for the game. It really is going to be good for solo queues. There is one more thing they need to fix, okay, and that is Sorks/Sages, okay, can be listed as DPS and do as much healing. You're talking 1,500 heals per second, listed as a DPS. So what they do is all their buddies queue as DPS. They have a Sork healer queued as DPS. They have a power tech, an Ion Cell queued as DPS, and they all get in the same match together. So basically, you're on the team with 4 DPS. They're on a team with a tank healer listed as a DPS, and it's an auto win essentially. It's just you can't beat them.
Yeah.
So I don't know how they can fix the Sork healing thing. The other classes, like the operative, don't really have that hybrid down, but the Sork, for whatever reason, is just brutal to take down when they're healing like that. Other than that, I think solos are really at a really good point once the Mercs and Commandos get buffed.
Okay, awesome. All right, so Red, how about you? What you been doing this week?
Well, I guess I did want to mention that I think I finally figured exactly why requisition bonus works the way that it is, because from the day one, or the first day we reported on it, I was noticing that you get about 15,000 shipwreck on an individual ship, and before your 500 pool is consumed. And it finally clicked for me that actually the way that it works is the calculation seems to be going in for you as a non-subscriber for how much requisition you get. And then it doubles that amount for your 500 pool. After it does the doubling amount, then it adds your subscriber bonus on top of that to give you the much larger number. So in effect, you end up getting double, a subscriber bonus on 750 because you're getting a 50% bonus that's being applied after the pool calculation is being applied. So it's actually pretty neat. It means as a subscriber you really are getting, double the amount for 750 rather than 500. um, also, well, I'll save that for later. Have there been any, since they introduced the customization tool, has there been anything added new for like hairstyles or tattoos or anything like that? Because they did when they launched it, but have they added anything since then?
They added those white eyes, I think, and there was something else like the purple and red hair. And is that what you're referring to?
But that was all added at the same time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Right. The changes I can think of are all pretty much right from the beginning.
Yeah, so it's kind of curious because I know a lot of people were rather excited, and I know a ton of people that bought every single one of those new customizations. It's weird that they haven't added more of things like that. You know, they keep adding titles, which I don't understand why you have to pay for a title, but or emotes.
They're cheap. Titles are real cheap.
1 second. Had something in my throat. Anyway, so I did have a match. I decided I was rolling. You know, I've been really focusing on my Flash Fire in particular, as well as my Star Guard. But I got bored one day, and I just decided, what the heck, I'm going to fly my Quarrel, which is the default gunship. And I played a whole match with him. Finished the match having done over 40,000 K. I got over 15 kills in one match. And it is not, you know, my most teched out ship. And I'm just sitting there thinking, should I play the gunship more? It's not my favorite ship, but damn, I'm obviously doing something right with it.
Yeah.
It
Felt
depends
really
on the
good. Got
competition,
achievements
though.
popping up for those.
Depends on the competition. If the other team actually knows what they're doing, they're going to reduce your output.
No, that's very true, and I also have the added benefit of rolling with some friends that they make sure they babysit me, you know, so that if, when people peel off to come after me, those are the ones they target first.
Gotcha.
Right.
Which is also quite a boon. Which I might as well go ahead and give a shout out just in case they happen to listen to the show. But Anastasia, Impside, Bastion, you are a remarkable starfighter, and I dread every match I'm put up against you.
Nice.
With the name Anastasia, I'm going to call her a her. Probably as a guy. But she also has a number of other people, we know their names, that run with her, but with or without her wingmen, she does really, really well. The best imp I've really come across on the Bastion.
What does she fly usually?
She's phenomenal with a gunship, but she will switch to a strike fighter if we're against her and hunting her. And then she's very good dodging, bobbing, weaving, and killing with her strike fighter. I mean, she's just an all-around good pilot.
Awesome.
So I did, and I need to put it in the show notes. I've got it, and I'll do that later. But I did take a snapshot because I've decided I'm high enough level now. I haven't done a single quest on, well, I hadn't on my fighter pilot, but it's time for me to start my class storyline because I'm high enough level now to go after cash, and I want to unlock all of my companions. And my friends have committed that they're going to drag me all the way through Hoth so that I can get every single one of my companions unlocked.
Nice.
But the other thing is I was actually highly incentivized with the stuff we'll talk about later about incoming material that we might be seeing, knowing that it's going to be on Alderaan. I need to have my ship available to me so I can at least fly to Alderaan and be working on achievements and anything that might be revealing itself while I'm also queuing for GS, because I'm not going to stop queuing for GS, but I am high enough level to be on Alderaan. So so I did take that photo. I'll put that into the show notes. I really like the Galactic Starfighter now. It rocks even more with the new noob injection of all the preferred players. Even if they're on my team, we just go out there, and since they're going to be on the other team too, it makes it real easy to slaughter. I've been getting all sorts of new achievements. And since Tuesday, and I've played quite a few matches, since Tuesday, I have not had a single loss yet. And we only had one match where we went up against Anastasia, and she didn't have her friends with her, so that's why we won.
There you go.
I did take the time to do 16-man Dread Palace with the guild. It's the first thing I've done with the guild since the holidays ended. And that was actually quite enjoyable. I don't tend to do 16-man content. I tend to focus on 8 with, you know, a smaller knit group of people, but a lot of fun. I just really like Dread Palace. And I think it was Descartes. The chat room will correct me, but I think it was Descartes that was mentioning before the show that there is one flaw with the Galactic Starfighter achievement implementation, which is that when you get your reward for certain achievements, in particular, the easiest one to reference is unlocking all of your companions. You get an achievement for each class, and then there's a total one for having done it for every class. When you finish doing it for every single class, you get 250 rec. But it applies to the character that you get it on. If that's not your starfighter, then you get fleet rec on a character you're not even using for starfighter. So that really should, I think, honestly be character-wide. Just put the fleet rec on all of them. It's not like it's not that big of a deal.
Yep.
Especially since it takes all of your characters to unlock it in the first place. Without knowing that, you're kind of jacked.
Yeah, exactly. That is bizarre because, I mean, everyone's going to have a GS main, and therefore they would have already gotten it on that character. So that's like the least likely one for you to get the bonus points on.
Exactly. And most people haven't done like you and I have, Chill, which is take a character that I haven't hit 55 and play Galactic Starfighter with it. A lot of people, hey, my Gunslinger, I've had him since day one. He's now my Galactic Starfighter.
Yep.
Wish I could take my ship in.
All right.
But yeah, that's about it. Great week.
Okay. Tio, what'd you do this week?
Let me talk about raiding first. We had the regular group back. So on our first day, we did the first boss in hard mode Dread Fortress, the relatively easy one. And because we didn't have much time, we then just did 4 or 5 story mode Dread Palace just to get the weekly done. Then on day 2, we did hard mode Scum and Villainy, still working our way through that content. So we got through the first 3 bosses, which we've done before, and then we got a couple of new ones. The 4th, which is the city boss, where you have to split up into 4 groups of 4 pairs and take down individual mobs and then get through to the final boss. So we took that one down, we one-shot that, and then we one-shot the
puzzle boss.
Droid boss. The boss where you got the grid with all the droids on it, and yeah, that was really cool. So this week we plan on just doing a complete run through Scum and Villainy and seeing how far we can get hard mode. So yeah, that was really good to have the full group back together, and all good. Outside of raiding, I had a actual couple of real-life deadlines, which have been taking my time away from playing the game, but when I was in-game, it was Galactic Starfighter, of course. Haven't been doing quite as well. In fact, last couple of days have been a bit rough. There are some really good in-players, and when you're pub versus pub, it really is a crapshoot who actually wins. So, yeah, I've just got to deal with the fact that we're not always going to win, and that if it's a tough team, then it's just more of a learning experience than anything else. But yeah, I'm basically sticking with my mastered Starguard Strike Fighter and just accumulating all of my requisition grant things until February 4th. That's pretty much it for my week. What about you, Chill?
Sure. First, a shout out to the chat room. We've got Ben_B55, Big Dan's here, Casmus, Darklighter, Descartes, Dread, Gaddick Teague of the Unnamed SWTOR podcast, Maverick103D, MG, Sylvath, the Pummeler, Delsha, Ferris Terran, Grimrock, and the Tripster. So hi everyone. Let's see. Did some Galactic Starfighter and all that good stuff. Did the raiding. Also, I just managed to get some time this week. Did some leveling. I got my high B PvP sniper up to Quesh so that his class missions wouldn't go gray on me, and so that was pretty fun. I'm enjoying the sniper, and I also started a sneaky smuggler, so I got him up to level 10. So I haven't done really. I've done the healing thing on an operative. Haven't really done the sneaky backstabby thing. So figured it'd be time to try that out. So that's been fun. It's also nice to see the low level Republic's side of things. Haven't seen that for some time. So yeah, that was good stuff. And other than that, though, pretty straightforward. I'm looking forward to seeing both of those characters more, and maybe get back into some ground-based PvP. It feels like I've been away from that for too long. All right, that will bring us to the tip of the week, and we have 3 of them this time. First, from Dunadai, I have a quick Galactic Starfighter tip for everyone that's especially handy when you're defending a satellite and you need to keep your eye on multiple enemies. If you press C, the camera will pan to look at your targeted enemy, so that you can see when that pesky gunship moves into range. Then when you release the C button, the camera will pan back in the direction you're facing. Simple, but amazingly effective.
He's right. When he pointed this out when we were in a match, it's just amazing. I had no idea.
So it kind of
really cool.
but it won't change the direction of your ship, right? It's changing
Correct.
only the camera, but that
Oh,
way
you
you
guys had
know
noticed
which way to
this?
go.
Mhm.
That way you know which way to turn to be.
Yeah, it's whoever's
to be
targeting you
facing.
too, or whoever you're targeting. So it's nice to track them down and follow them.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't realize you guys
That's
didn't know
nice.
this. I've accidentally hit my C button so many times and crashed into things because I wasn't aware of what was going on.
Yeah, probably more effective if you're like slowed or stopped.
Exactly.
All right. Second tip from Oxygen of the Shadowlands. Here's a tip just for smugglers and agents. The default setting for when you go into cover switches your upper center quick slot bar with a new special cover bar for abilities. But if you're like me and you don't like the switching of quick slot bars, you can go to Preferences, then User Interface, and choose to deselect Enable Cover Bar. And I've been playing the game for 2 years, and only recently did I realize this option existed. So I thought I should share. May the cartel coins be with you. And
That's
Tio, I
one of the
understand.
most-
Yeah, I understand you turned this off.
Indeed. I can't stand the cover bar. I just prefer to have the static rows of abilities on my gunslinger. So, yep, no cover bar for me.
Yeah, I'm
no,
going to be honest. I actually, day one, turned that off too, even though that's my main.
I'm the opposite. I like the cover bar. I know there's a tiny delay, so once in a while you can accidentally fire off the wrong thing if you're too quick about hitting the button after you hit cover. But I like having the extra abilities that don't require me to add more shifts and controls and alts.
Right.
I think it's
a smuggler and a sniper has so many abilities anyway that it's nice to have the extra bar for me.
Yeah, I imagine. Well, that's absolutely right. We do have a butt ton of abilities. But I think it probably comes from the fact that I never played a class before with a cover bar. But since I had played MMOs before, having that cover bar, my whole play style has been centered around the fact that my fingers know what the abilities are. I don't even know the names of half of my abilities, but I know what they do.
Right.
And having the same finger doing more than one thing was just too much for my head. I'm just not that smart, Like, I just need it to be static and not worry about it.
Right.
I could see it being really advantageous because it can be a hassle, especially when you have as many abilities as we do, working with shifts and alts and controls and everything else. But for me, it was just, I'm just not.
And there's really almost a full bar of abilities that you can only use in cover anyway as a sniper. So, I mean, you might as well take the bar, at least as far as I'm concerned. But to get around the problem of accidentally hitting the wrong button, like in other words, hitting cover and then smashing the ability before the cover bar actually rolls up, it only takes like a tenth of a second or maybe a little more than that, but it does happen sometimes. So what I've done is over time I've developed it so that whatever, usually the 4 button is going to be like my main nuke just because it's easy to hit. And so what I do is my non-cover bar is an ability that's very short range so that it just doesn't come into play. If I hit it before it goes into cover, usually the guy will be out of range and it won't matter. Then I'll just smash the button again once the cover bar comes up and I'm good to go.
Yeah, it looks like even Silvath in the chat room is totally agreeing with you. With the added comment that I don't like to see them when I can't use them.
All those great abilities.
Yeah, and Tia, I'm sorry, you're saying something about my voice though, or something?
Yeah, the volume, your microphone volume has just shot up.
All right. I don't know why.
Now, I think.
So again,
Oh, I
Greg?
was just saying, I think he actually sounds better now. When it rose, the quality got better too.
Maybe.
Okay.
All right, continue. Continue.
Oh, I'm thinking. I did not turn off the heater today, so that could be it potentially.
Okay.
All right. Third tip from Russ at Mancephorus on Twitter. As my fourth character nears level 40 at the end of the chapter 2 buff, I've been looking around for some legacy gear so I can legacy smuggle Treek's gear between my tunes. I was disappointed to find out that legacy gear costs 100 to 150k per piece. But this week a solution dropped into my inbox courtesy of BioWare. The free pilot suits that the preferred players got this week, and so I assume the subs already have them, are fully moddable orange legacy gear. So thank you, Galactic Starfighter, you just saved me 1,000,000 credits.
Now, it's worth noting they never used to be bind to legacy. I was reading on the SWOTOR subreddit. This is a change. So those 4 sets that we all got as subs, yep, they're all now bind to legacy. So you
Nice.
don't even need to buy like the Gree gear, which is also
Right.
bind to legacy. And cheap, but not free. This stuff is free, and it's on all your characters. So
Yeah.
fantastic.
In fact, if someone wasn't going to legacy smuggle it, I mean, I got them on all my characters anyway, so it's
Yep.
not like I got them on one character and then it's legacy, so I can actually send this to someone else.
But for legacy smuggling, it's perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And Tio, I'll throw it to the holo feed, but I'm also gonna turn off the heater. So
Roger.
let me do that. Right, so by random allotment, the winner was Russ. So congratulations, Russ. You will be getting a Tonfon code courtesy of BioWare and one of the latest cartel packs courtesy of the OotiniCast. If anyone has tips of the week they'd like to submit, please send them to OotiniCast@gmail.com. And that will bring us to the holo feed. Tio?
Okay, so we actually have some news this week, quite a lot as it turns out. Now let's start with Game Update 2.5.2. Now, we kind of got this wrong, because somehow I got into my head that 2.5.2 would be deployed 2 weeks before 2.6, which would be next Tuesday. But as they originally announced, it came on 14 January. So 2.5.2 is here. All preferred players now have access to Galactic Starfighter. And all free-to-play players will get it in 3 weeks' time on February 4th with Game Update 2.6. So we do have a bunch of patch notes to go through. The first thing is they did release the gunship, as in the role unlock is now available to everyone, those subscribers who did not have it, and all preferred players, of course.
Right.
And they also released the additional gunship, and we'll talk about the premium one. Now, there is a trailer for it that has been released on YouTube for the gunship, and it doesn't really tell you anything new, just shows you what you can do. They really missed an opportunity there, because one of the best things you can do with a gunship is when you see the enemy ship way off in the distance, and then it just pops. A little explosion. They didn't have that in the trailer, which is a real shame, but it's still pretty cool. All right, let us go through the show notes. Now, let us go through the patch notes. One thing they added, which I didn't see mentioned, was there is now the Starfighter passes. These are new because they only make sense for preferred players. You can purchase a 7-day, a 30-day, or a 180-day Starfighter pass. What they do is, according to the description, they grant you bonus requisition gain equivalent to that received by subscribers.
This is
They have
brilliant.
no effect on subscribers. So yeah, if you only play Galactic Starfighter, you could buy this and effectively be equivalent. So if you're a preferred player, you don't have to subscribe. You can do this instead. And the cost, 7 days for a week, is 240 cartel coins, 30-day, 720 cartel coins, and 180-day Starfighter Pass is currently 10% off at... That's too small to read.
Looks like
3,006. Yeah.
Yeah, 3888.
So 180-day Starfighter Pass, 3888 cartel coins at 10% off.
Have
Okay.
you guys seen any of these on the GTN yet? I meant to
No.
look today and
No.
forgot to check.
I haven't
It's
checked them on the
profitable to do that.
GTN now.
This is honestly absolutely brilliant, and I'm sure there's going to be some boo-hooers, but I honestly think they should do this with the ground PvP.
For ranked, yeah. I mean, you need more people playing it. I mean, yeah, it's a good idea.
Yeah.
If you don't want to sub, and just focus on one aspect
Yeah.
of the game, this is the perfect way. So yeah, I
Yeah.
agree.
I really like this. And the boo-hooers, really what it boils down to is you have to understand that effectively free-to-players are preferred, really. It's a preferred. They need to have access to be able to play whatever component of the game they want to their heart's content. And if they want to play all the components, then they're going to be spending more more money than we would, or else spending a lot of in-game time just trying to manage all of it and purchase it off the GTN and work it out, which is fine. Someone else is then paying for it. But that's why I'm a subscriber. I play the entire game, all aspects of it, and I never want to worry about the accounting and all that other crap. I'm paying $15 a month to just have full access. They need it. They need
does not-
the right to have access like we do.
It does not devalue our subscription in any way. I mean, if
Exactly.
we just wanted to focus on Galactic Starfighter and nothing else, there would be no reason to continue subscribing. We would get this instead, which is the way it's supposed to work.
Oh, I would
So,
totally.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I like the rest of the game too much.
Exactly. So anyway, available in the cartel market right now under Starfighter for those passes. Very cool. Now let's talk about the new gunships. So the ones that we had all along were the Quarrel and the Mangler on the two factions, Pub and Imp. So now everyone can purchase them using Fleet Rec if you didn't get it for free, having been subscribed prior to 20th November. So for everyone else, there are now the two new gunships, the Comet Breaker and the Dust Maker. They're described as flexible, long-range fighters able to equip heavy laser cannons and torpedoes in addition to their railgun. The general consensus is that they're kind of crap compared to the existing gunship, just the loadout and what you can do with them. But I guess we'll see. We'll see how they play.
Well, did they look cool? That's what really matters.
I didn't really pay attention. I was just looking at the stats, to be honest. Yeah, but anyway.
Sorry, so if it were even very slightly more maneuverable, I really like the notion that it's got the railgun as well as a missile. Since
But
the other
note
one
that you
doesn't, and
cannot
honestly, I don't switch between railguns. I just use one all the
You
time.
can't install the ion railgun in it, which is a bit of a interesting
Right,
choice.
but I never use that.
Ah,
I mean,
it's pretty good.
with my my proton? No, the slug railgun. With my slug railgun, when I hit somebody once, because I've got it maxed out, right? It strips their entire shield, and then takes something like 60% of their health off, and then I hit them a second time. There's no reason for me to use my ion.
Two-shotter.
Yeah, I'm still two-shotting either way. So why would I need to use my ion gun first and then the other one?
Because when it's fully spec'd out, it actually does damage in an AoE effect. You're actually helping out your teammates. That's why.
The ion gun does
Just in
AoE?
case. If you've fully maxed it out, that's what Genodai was telling me.
Hell yeah, I didn't know that.
Look
Okay,
right down
I
to
might start to check out my ion railgun.
It's more if
Does
you're working
everyone
with a
play
group.
gunships?
So-
Does everyone pretty much play gunships? That's all I hear people talking about. That they.
I only play
mean, they
Strike
just-
Fighter. Never. Play
Oh,
gunship.
really?
I tend
I
to do a lot of
mostly play-
scouts.
Yeah, and honestly, I hear more people talking about their scouts. Of course, you go into
Really?
those matches where you see a lot of gunships, but my swarm of scouts will take out those gunships faster than they can take us out.
So there's not
And
one
they
particular.
are not node capture units, you know?
Hmm.
So even if I'm dying from 2 shots once in a while, I'm still holding the location and winning the match most of
Right.
the time.
So there's not
Yeah.
one particular dominant thing that everyone's using type thing.
No,
No.
there is not.
No,
I've
it's-
seen scouts played really well. I've seen gunships played really well. So
That's
Yeah,
good.
it's right now, and I think everything's going up in the air with the bombers, but right now it's very well balanced. And it really boils down to what ship you like and play the best.
Yep.
You can do extraordinary with any type, but your play style is really going to dictate which one you do best with.
okay, it'll be interesting to see if more gunships appear now that everyone has access to them. I guess we'll
Yeah.
see.
Oh, and I guess I might as well mention too, my buddy who had subscribed to get the gunship initially, and then his subscription ran out before the 14th, so he hasn't been able to play until now. He is back in the game. He does have his gunship back. It is still fully teched, so
told it.
everything's safe.
Don't know why I was worried. There was like no chance that they would take that away. But anyway, the other thing to mention is the premium versions, the Strong Arm and the Demolisher gunships, which are apparently the alternate versions, are just alternate skins for the new gunships, so the kind of crap ones. They are not purchasable. They are not purchasable directly from the cartel market. Instead, they are only found in the Dogfighter packs, the new packs that have been added to the cartel market. So interesting choice. Unlike all the other ships you could buy directly, these ones only out of the packs. So you have to
Hyper
gamble
great.
to find them.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with this. I think it's a bit of a silly move, but at the same time, I need to see what they look like. I haven't, gotten online to look at them or anything. But if it's something, I think the new one looks pretty goofy. If it looks better than that, I might go buy it off of the GTN because I'm not even flying it to build my pool right now. I put it on my bar so that my matchmaking was lower. But other than that, I'm waiting until February 8th since I've been stockpiling. Right now I've got 4 weeklies that I haven't consumed, and I think last time I checked it was like 17 or 18 dailies. So, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be around 45,000 total come February 8th. I'm not going to play those new ones. I might buy those skins, and who knows what happens on February 8th when presumably there will be some bomber options and stuff too.
Stop saying the wrong date. It's February 4th.
4th, yeah, February 4th. So yeah, I'm okay with that right now, but I am really just getting tremendously discouraged about the fact that we keep getting more ships that are exactly the same as one another that you have to start from the beginning. I want skins. I want a skin I can put on my ship. Because if they come out with a pre-existing ship that looks just like my smuggler ship, I'm gonna be pissed like you wouldn't believe. I might stop playing Galactic Starfighter if I can't just put it on as a skin. I'll pay 5 times as much as what they've sold any of these things so far if it's a skin. But I'm not starting over. That's so much wasted time.
No one's forcing you to use that look. So, no.
Well, no,
Anyway.
but if I want the look and I don't even know what ship it's going to be on in the future, and I've already got ship mastery.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, you can pay cartel coins, transfer it all.
But that's my point. They're going to get a lot more people's cartel coins if they can change the look of their existing ship they've already got ship mastery on. If they have to start over every time, there's going to be a lot fewer people purchasing it.
Yeah, true.
Maybe. I don't know. It depends on what their economists are telling them, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway, so let's move on. Bounty contract week, if you're still doing that, is actually on. They sort of snuck this one up on us. It's running right now. We'll complete normal time next Tuesday, January 21st.
So
now,
no
we already
raggle
mentioned
the bounty contract.
No rackles. Let's talk about that briefly. Courtney Wood has been teasing on Facebook and Twitter and on the forums all over the place
that there are animal attacks. She hasn't said anything raccool.
She's mentioned Alderaan. The pun has been used too many times. People are looking in Alderaan places. And, yeah, anyway. Let's credit the Pummeler and Max Grave with that. Yeah, so anyway. No Rackle event yet. We suspect that it will start tomorrow. Could be today. Yeah, I mean, they could just leave it until Bounty Contract Week is over before they kick it off, but there's no real reason to. They can overlap. It's not like they're sharing any resources.
We do know definitively that it's this month.
Yeah, they said that in
January, yes.
Yeah, and there's only 2.5 weeks left, so I mean, if it's not tomorrow, I'd expect it to be next week, and the only reason they held it off was for the Bounty Hunter event.
Let's hope.
We'll see.
Do they have to patch it?
I'm really looking forward to it.
No, this is the kind of thing that they've already patched. You'll notice the patch was actually kind of meaty. It was like 100 meg. There was a bunch of some kind of asset in there, so
So they're waiting
I'm
to click
guessing.
a button,
Uh-huh.
essentially.
It's no doubt scheduled. It could just switch on anytime.
Hmm.
All right, let's talk about PAX. Yet another.
Well, I did want to say, just from the teases and everything, and I understand there are smarter people than me and the data miners and everything else, I really hope that this isn't actually the Raccoon event, just because they said it was going to be a new event. And granted, if it's on another planet Alderaan, then fine, I'll take that as a new event, because I really am looking forward to seeing it come back at this point. But it would be even cooler if they really surprised us with a genuinely new event.
Get used to disappointment. It is a bloody Rackles. Come on. There's no chance it's anything else. Yeah, anyway. All right, new packs. We got two. They're called Starfighter packs this time in the new shipment. Is this shipment 4 or 5? Anyway,
4.
new packs. New shipment, okay. We have the Wingman's Starfighter pack. Available on the cartel market for 160 cartel coins, and the Dogfighters pack, that's the one with the new gunships in it, the premium ones, for 320 cartel coins. Dolphy has the preview up and of what's in it. There are some really terrible looking outfits, among other things. Depends on your taste, of course. Actually, there are some really cool ones as well. So I will link to that. Obviously, you can just have a quick look through. I'm just having a look myself to.
And it has black dye, because I bought a hyper crate. And I got a bunch of black dye, so I am happy.
I actually like that show-off's outfit.
The vehicles are fantastic. There's something called the Calicar Strike Fighter Simulator.
Right. And you don't see the player at all.
It's an enclosed cockpit. Yeah. It's just
amazing. That is cool.
Yep. Yeah, so the vehicles are just good.
Of course, I didn't
like
get
these robotic ones are actually a lot more, or sorry, cybernetic ones are a lot more extensive than the older ones, so that they might make for some pretty interesting combinations with the pre-existing ones.
Now, comment from you gentlemen, the Firmament Tauntaun is also in the pack. So we had the one you could purchase directly from the cartel market. Now we have one in a pack.
Is it the same thing?
They're all a little different.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, actually, it does look like a tan with a lot of clothes.
Yeah.
I love how they have them on Tatooine, because, you know, Tauntauns really need the extra padding when they're on a desert planet.
Well, I love seeing more pod racers, but the worst part is I feel like that color distribution is pretty uninspired, and yet it is my favorite color in the world. The Coriolis Duke SE. You may have to get it.
You like the green, huh?
I really like dark green.
I also like the Sky Cruiser that's based on the Cloud City vehicles from Empire.
Oh, and in the pets, we've got the Model Blue Hut Barge. And it's a little sail barge with the hut. Yeah, that is fantastic. Once again tempted, but I'll wait to see if any of this turns up on the cartel market.
It always does, and I always get it there.
Yep, and there's a new mood, Crying. I can think of some people that would be most appropriate for.
Yeah. There's also a Dejarik emote, which is kind of cool.
Well, stop bringing up PvP and I'll stop crying.
Blizz customization. I think this is this the first Blizz customization we've seen?
On the cartel market? Maybe.
Well, I guess it must be, yeah. Oh, yeah, and a primary black dye module, as Jacob mentioned earlier.
It's awesome.
And it's a purple and pale brown one, which is actually pretty hideous. But yeah, the black one, cool. Anyway.
Some pretty cool stuff in this one, yeah.
Yeah. I'll be watching the GTN eagerly.
There's also a bunch of weapons, and a lot of them, like the rifles and the lightsabers, are very simple. So if you like simple, these actually might be for you. There's a lot of real fancy lightsabers out there with like weird blades and stuff, and odd handle thingies sticking out of them. And nope, this one's just very, very basic.
An elegant weapon from a more civilized age.
That's right.
Yep, you can get the hypercrate of the Dogfighters for 69 12 cartel coins, usual stuff.
Yep. And they have even
Yep.
more creepy cybernetic armor.
Yes, even more creepy.
Yeah. Now
Anything else you want to
10%
bring
more
up?
creepy.
No, I like it. I like it a
10%
lot.
creepier than previous versions.
Yep. Okay, so moving on, bug fixes. Lightsabers once again appear with the correct color when thrown. That is a little disconcerting. They just did the default blue when you did your saber throw as a guardian or whatever.
Okay.
So now they should be whatever color the lightsaber actually is. Now there's a fix for the assassin and the shadow. So this is for tanking, obviously. At 3 stacks, Harness Darkness now grants Dark Protection while Force Lightning is being channeled regardless of if damage is dealt by it or not. Chill, was this ever a problem? So were there some cases where it wasn't doing damage and so your stacks were dropping off? Because it was like, yeah, not doing damage.
Right. Like if the boss was immune at the time?
Yeah.
Possibly, but I don't think we ran into it on the bosses that we've done the last couple of weeks. So it drops off anyway. I'm still arguing it's too short by at least 3 seconds, but
And they still haven't changed it. Yeah.
but yeah, no, I'm glad that we didn't run into that problem. It'd be even harder to keep up. So,
Yep.
yeah.
Alright, there's a bunch more bug fixes, some Galactic Starfighter stuff, ability descriptions have been clarified. They may have actually made some changes. What else? Nearly done.
There's some good ones in the PvP. There was an area, a couple areas you could bug out the match if you were going to lose. People found a way to jump behind the Makeb arena. So what they do is, if they were a Sork and they were butthurt because they were losing, they would go find the little bug, jump in there, wait till the gas came, pop their bubble, and win. And so, yeah, that wasn't very fun for a while.
Oh wow! So that
you couldn't.
Wow.
Yep, you couldn't pull them. You couldn't do anything. And previously, they had fixed the whole assassin teleport when the gas thing came too, but they were doing the same sort of thing where they could tell. They put their what's it called, phase walk in a specific spot on top of a crate or whatnot, and then gas came, pop it, everyone dies but them. So it's good fixes. Good fixes.
Excellent.
I mean, I'm very eager for us to talk about the next point because this was a huge contention I've had issues with for months.
The GCD thing?
Yeah.
Alright, let's move on to that then. Game Update 2.5.2 also includes a fix for the GCD global cooldown / ability misfire bug, is what it's characterized as. So we had, where's his name? Oh, crap. Actually, I don't think they gave a name. The lead engineer for combat and visuals gave this explanation. So what it boiled down to was, the actual problem was you trigger an ability, we'd press an ability, the GCD was triggered, which means you couldn't do anything for 1+ seconds, but it failed. You sometimes got the red error message or whatever. It just failed, but the GCD had been triggered. So you were just stuck waiting and nothing had happened. Now, there are 2 reasons for this. The first one is performance related. If there's a lot of players in the area, the client and server will get slightly out of sync. And the client, in its attempt to try and keep things dynamic, will basically trigger the GCD, even though the server hadn't agreed that was actually available. And they say they're trying to fix those issues generally, but so that hasn't been actually fixed. But they're working on it, etc. The second case was an actual bug, an actual logic issue. When the player is trying to activate an ability immediately following a GCD, the client sometimes fails to initiate the server request, but still charges the GCD for the action. And you had to wait for the GCD. That was a bug. That is what they have actually fixed in 2.5.2 as of now.
Yeah, and this is something I've been seeing for months on my gunslinger, because I've actually it's on multiple characters, even my guardian tank and other characters, because I've learned to very, very much take advantage of the fact that you can queue an ability before the cooldown finishes, because I know it'll be able to pop up following, and it happens so freaking often that it'll start channeling. but nothing channels, no damage gets done, and I have to wait the entire damn global cooldown before I can redo the same ability, because it doesn't put it on cooldown, but it does the global cooldown.
Sure.
So it obviously didn't get set off. This has been really infuriating. And from my experiences, having watched it and just kind of in my mind analyzing how it works, I'm pretty sure that that is what I've been encountering, this piece that they fixed. I'm really eager to get into the game to find out if it's genuinely fixed, but this looks good.
It sounds like they have actually found a bug, a logic error. So
Yeah.
Now,
That's
do you
good.
guys mess with your queue, ability action queue in the UI? Because
Oh, yeah.
there's a, what do you guys set it to? The highest, the lowest? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I put it at 0.5, and I think it goes up to 0.75 or something.
It goes to 1 second, I think. But
Yeah,
I was
might be.
hearing that some people set it as low as possible, because otherwise you get ghost cooldowns or whatever this is called. That if you set it too high, it'll just queue and then boom, nothing happens. It uses a global and you didn't do anything. So I don't know.
That's this problem that I think they've encountered, that they're supposedly
Yeah.
fixing. Because, yeah, that's basically what I do is I have it at half a second, just in case I get any lag spikes from my ISP or anything like that. But I'm a button masher, right? I know every ability I'm using in the priority that I have it. But I sit there and wait for the global cooldown to wear off. So I'm just button mashing it until I see it go off, and then I switch to my next one, and I'm.
And start smashing that.
Which is why everybody, when I'm in an ops, insists that I use push to talk, because otherwise they hear my mechanical keyboard going bonkers.
So what do you do for channeled abilities, Red? Because if you're doing that, you cancel the channel. So you resist doing your...
Yeah.
Smash.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the only channeled ability I have to worry about with Sharpshooter is Speed Shot.
Right.
And for that one, I basically try to clip it just before the end, because I know there's always going to be a tiny little bit of latency.
Trying to get that in a little bit.
Right. And so I try to time it, but I'll still clip it, so I'm actually probably still utilizing that queue system a little bit.
Okay. All right. Let's move on. Two companions, Jacer, which is Jacer Wilson, who's on the Sith Warrior, and Lord Scourge, that's the Jedi Knight, aren't actually available to the other classes on their faction. That is a bug in Galactic Starfighter, to unlock as crew in Galactic Starfighter.
I see.
That is a bug that will be fixed in Game Update 2.6. So just so you know, if you wanted to get the abilities from those guys, which you can check out using our crew calculator on OotiniCast.com/crew, if you so desire. All right, we have a quick explanation from Jason Attard, Senior Game Designer, on how sensors work in Galactic Starfighter. So our ships have a sensor radius around the ship and a sensor cone in front of the ship, which increasing your focus sensor range increases the length of the cone, while increasing your sensor radius increases the size of the sphere around your ship. Things that refer to sensor range generally modify both the cone out in front and the radius around your ship. Any hostile ships in your sensor cone or sensor radius, so if they're out front, as far as it extends, or within that radius, will show up in your minimap and HUD. And you can also see hostile ships that your allies can sense if your communication radius, separate again, communication radius, overlaps with the ally. So that's why you can't sometimes see the red dots around the other node, because there's none of your ships there whose communication radius overlaps with yours.
Right.
This is excellent information, though, because the sensor focus in particular, there's been so much wild speculation around it. I'm really glad to know about the cone, and that makes sense. And just my gut reaction, first thought is for sensor cone. You know, the sensor. What are they? What is
One in front of you.
Yeah.
The cone is in front of you. Mm-hmm.
Right. So I would expect that boosting that would most benefit a gunship, since you're going to be zoomed in and looking in certain directions anyway.
Right.
You know, but otherwise that sensor radius definitely seems like something I'm going to default to more for my other ships.
Right.
But, of course, you know, gameplay often proves me wrong.
We'll see. Okay, the leaderboard data that
Uh-huh.
we mentioned last week that is displayed on the SWOTOR.com leaderboards
Mhm.
had kind of jammed up on Saturday, 4th of
PvPers
January.
were enraged.
It just
Enraged.
stopped, nothing changed, and it basically stayed broken for 10 days. Now, on Tuesday, there was a post from a community team member, Tate Watson, just saying, could you just report or just let us know about if you were one of the players affected by this? It was everyone, which is kind of weird, but they asked for it
Blast.
anyway.
Yes, it affects all of us. Thank you.
The data has indeed started flowing because I've been checking this daily, and I could see it was like 0 activity for 10 days, but now it is actually working again.
Well,
But
it's still
Tatus has-
botched. Yeah,
Oh,
if
what's
you
wrong
go
with
to
it, Jacob?
if you go to the leaderboards right now and you go to the Sork, you can go leaderboard solo. The top Sork in the world is 1914. The second Sork in the world is 2,283. How does that work?
Okay, so the ranking's screwed up.
It's
But, okay.
Yeah, some of it's flubbed up still, but for the most part,
Is the
it's
numbers
flowing again.
themselves right as far as we know, as in the actual number of kills and wins?
Yeah, that
rating?
guy basically quit the game. I don't know if that's why his account isn't working anymore, that Mudclot guy. But so that might be why it's jacked up. But yeah, it was down for quite a while. But still, it's not.
Okay.
It still isn't completely sorted up for whatever
Right.
reason.
Okay, it was down for
Right.
10 days. Now, they have posted that they found something which they're going to fix next Tuesday, so presumably the website probably needs some update, but the data itself is at least working again. So your
Can they
rating
give
and
me
everything
100 more
else,
elo?
no. Do we know
And
whether
Chill?
that data was lost?
Well, my elo it's been the same. If that's what you're asking. I mean, if the
Yeah,
data.
so
Yeah, everything's fine. I mean, it just didn't update on the leaderboard. So when I went to search
Right.
for what my stuff was currently, it wouldn't show, but it didn't reset it or didn't. I mean, all my characters stayed the same.
okay. Sorry, Chill, did you want to ask something?
Yeah, I was just curious if you know how it's affected your data mining at OotiniCast.com/leaderboards.
It hasn't affected it it's just put a big hole in it.
All right.
So
Okay.
activity dropped to 0, so I'm basically just going to chop that data out because it gives you a very strange graph
Right.
if I included that. So
How does it
We
look
don't
where
know.
we are now compared to when you last reported on it?
there was a lot of activity. So the
So
numbers
the
still look strange.
holiday does seem
but-
to have affected it, and things are kicking into gear again.
From what I've seen so far, it's only been up a day, so it's a bit hard to tell. Let's give it another few days until we
Maybe
get a
check
feel
in
for
next
it.
week.
Yep.
Yeah, that would be
Alright.
good to talk about next week.
All right. So yet more news. The Old Republic Insider video for January was released. Now it's hosted by producer Cory Butler. They started off with Blaine Christine, who is a senior producer on Galactic Starfighter. Now he's talking about what's in Game Update 2.6, and we have the revelation of Team Deathmatch.
Ah.
Team Deathmatch,
Yeah,
a
this
new
is cool.
mode in addition to Domination. I have yet to hear, maybe you guys can clarify, whether it is a new map or they have just
Yes.
repurposed.
It is.
It is a new map.
Yeah, it's a new
Interesting.
map.
Are there
And
more than one or just the single one?
Just one. At least from what I understand, I have only one.
Excellent.
Very good. So each side will have a certain number of deaths, basically? Is that how that works?
They didn't
I don't
really
know
go
the
into
cap.
detail. Yeah.
Okay.
It is whoever has killed the most of the opposing team by the end of the time, or if you hit the cap. But
I
I
see.
don't know what the cap is. But obviously, it means that you as an individual can die more than once, but you got to be slaughtering the other team.
So
The team with
basically,
the highest-
they're adding a hut ball to this because everyone just team death matches anyways in hut ball. I mean, don't you guys kind of see that happen on your server that no one even plays
No.
objectives? It's a civil war.
No.
No one goes to the node. Everyone just goes middle.
Oh yeah,
and-
come to Bastion.
no one. I'm not watching the node.
Hut ball, I get 3 or 4 medals until I win and get 6-0 in 4 minutes, and all of my medals come flying up off the screen. It's all about objective on the Bastion for sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
not mine.
Okay, so Team Deathmatch, let's just... Well, we should also mention Game Update 2.6 did, as we speculated last week, appear on the PTS. So that was the extra information that we were going to get. I suppose they published a few other things, but... so it's there. You can actually play all this stuff, though people like JD, who's Gadok Teague at the Unnamed Swirl podcast, has been doing some videos previewing this stuff. It's hard to... I don't think he got a pop last I heard from him in Galactic Starfighter on the PTS. They haven't organised specific times, though I'm guessing they probably will do that between now and launch to actually get people in there and trying it. So there is information in the patch notes. So let's talk about Team Deathmatch a bit more.
Well,
the other change that they've
if there's
added...
any interest, at 9 p.m. on Friday, there's a group of us that will actually be getting on. That's server time, PST.
Let's wait for them to actually organise it properly, but yeah, okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be 8 of us, and hopefully we can get some randoms in there. But anybody that wants to join, feel free.
So in Team Deathmatch, they have also got, as in addition to the new map, power-ups. Power-ups are spawned in the map at the start of the match, and once picked up, will respawn at a random point in an area after a random amount of time. They provide boosts to the players depending on which is picked up, and each boost lasts 45 seconds. So what they've got so far is the engine overcharge, which doubles engine power regen rate, increases your ship's speed by 30%, increases ship defenses by 15%, refills engine power to full on pickup. So engine overcharge.
Yeah.
We got weapon overcharge, doubles blaster power regen rate, refills blaster power to full. That's kind of cool. Doesn't do no damage boost mentioned, because that's a different one. Shield overcharge, doubles shield power regen rate, eliminates shield recently consumed regen rate, refills shields to full on pickup, and finally damage overcharge, doubles damage from all primary and secondary non-drone weapons. How cool is that? So,
how long do each of them last? Are they all the same?
I said 45 seconds.
So it is for every single one. Okay. 45 seconds on that shield one in particular. I mean, I get that the damage one, everybody's going to be happy for it, but for me, that shield one is pretty awesome.
Looks like they have different spawn rates, like the damage overcharge is particularly rare, though there will be at least one on the map at any point in time. They will be visible on the mini-map, and I'm guessing they'll have different icons as well.
Yeah.
So at least part of the play will be keeping your eye out for those power-ups and going after them.
Right.
Keeping the other players from getting them, things like that.
Now, the assumption is that the power... Go ahead, Jill. Sorry.
Yeah, even on the minimap, though, the minimap's 2D, and you'll have to figure out where it is in 3D.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they'll probably all be in the same plane, I would guess.
Possibly, but maybe not.
Yeah.
Are the indications that this is only for the new mode? This isn't... These power-ups aren't going to be added into our existing domination mode, are they?
Correct. These are only for deathmatch.
So this is cool. Yeah. Not only is it a different map and a new experience and the new, objective of slaughtering people, but we get to utilize new mechanics. I like it. I like it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let us return to the Old Republic Insider video. Still Blaine Christine. He also talked about the Qt Drive Yards flashpoint, the roll neutral and level neutral flashpoint. Now, it was clarified in the patch notes, and then Andrew Horwitz also on the video talked about it more. Firstly, it's bolstered, so that's what they mean by level neutral. We weren't quite sure that's what it means. Everyone is bolstered to presumably level 55.
Okay.
I believe JD mentioned that in one of his videos. There's the 55 version, and then there's the pre-55 version with everyone being bolstered to 55.
Okay.
As he asked, why did they separate those? I guess gear, maybe. But anyway, So 15 to 55 is the level range. Doesn't matter what your level is. You can play with your friends, get in a group together, queue up for this. It's got its own category in the group finder. And roll neutral, so you can all be DPS. But in addition, this is something new. We didn't know it would be tactical, is what they're calling it. And what that means is there's, I think, 5 different maps and 5 different objectives, and they're all different each time or something. So it'll be one of the 5 maps each time, and then all the objectives are going to be different each time. So they're trying to keep it dynamic, basically. Every time you do it, it's going to be different.
Nice.
It's really cool. Yeah, we'll have to see what it's like. I didn't actually watch the videos that people have done, like JD, about this, because I wanted to actually do it fresh, but it sounds really good.
Yeah.
It sounds awesome. I'm just highly skeptical about how how it's going to come out in execution, and I haven't gotten to try this on the test server, unfortunately.
All right, then withhold your judgment.
I'm hopeful. I'm highly hopeful, but
Good.
since apparently I'm too excited about the new event, I need to be more skeptical for this.
Well, you made up. You jumped to a completely bizarre conclusion about that. So, anyway, Andrew Horwitz did also mention the new event, which, as we know, is the Rackle coming in January. They also mentioned this new area in the fleet that you can only get to if you do the Cure Drive Yards Flashpoint, at least once, presumably, probably per character. It's just a way of apparently tying Galactic Starfighter to the ground game. So that's the whole point of this exercise. Hopefully there will be more of these tactical, role neutral, role level neutral, etc. flashpoints. Even more hopefully, they will add this bolstering to the old flashpoints, but I don't have much hope of that. That would be wonderful.
Right. Well, they've got 2 different versions of most of them now.
Yeah. Now, finally, in the video, they also mentioned Amazon and Best Buy. They're partnering up for their cartel coin packs and yet more mini pets from those retailers. So, if you're a pet collector, another opportunity to spend money. All right, game update 2.6 on the PTS, as we've already talked about a little. Patch notes, so let's go through it. Well, firstly, the bomber. We already knew it was coming, though there are a few more interesting details. So there are the 2 types of bomber. One is the mine layer. One is the ones with the drones. The drones are the 2 types: healing and DPS.
Right.
So they also released a developer update, which actually goes into the bomber in more detail. So let's go through it. They talk about the bomber being, as we've talked about previously, much more heavily armored and much heavier shields. So these things are beasts, can really take a pounding. And we'll have a whole bunch of things that will, well, make them pretty good node guards, I would suggest. And that's certainly what we saw when we played with these on the PTS back when this was being tested prior to launch. But they were also heavily overpowered, so it's really hard to tell how they're actually going to go in the real games. So basic damage-dealing mines, like the concussion mines or the seismic mines, drain shields and power from enemies with ion mines, slow foes with interdiction mines, and there are seeker mines, which launch themselves at enemies from a fair distance away. These are obviously different components. You just have to pick which mines that you want to put.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
All of them.
So
they all sound awesome.
They're all pretty cool. Yep. Now, the drones, stationary AI-controlled ships, effectively. Sentry drones, I remember them. They were the ones that were one-shotting strike fighters on the PTS. They won't be as good anymore, of course. They automatically attack nearby foes, so you can just leave them at a control point, like a satellite or whatever. And there are different types of sentries, armed with laser cannons, concussion missiles, railguns, or interdiction fields to slow them down. Repair drones, they're the ones that actually do heal. They will restore hull, and they can be upgraded to also recharge shields and refill spent munitions. Now that confirms what I sort of remembered. But they don't do that by default. You do have to upgrade them to access that capability. So they will refill your missiles.
And how much munitions? Any idea?
No, I don't remember. We'll have to see.
The munitions in particular are exciting to me.
Exactly. You won't have to self-destruct to refill your missiles anymore. But what's really cool is there's a shield projector you can apparently use to protect nearby ships. I don't remember that.
That is cool.
But something I have no memory of is the hyperspace beacon. It gives its teammates a respawn point close to the action. How cool is that?
Very cool.
So nothing like this in the moment. You can just drop your respawn point right on top of the satellite, maybe, the thing is, what do you give up to be able to have the capability of dropping that hyperspace
Right.
beacon? But, geez, that is so cool. So anyway, Bombers coming February 4th with game update 2.6.
Yeah. I've had
Kind
all
of
sorts of
excited.
crazy discussions with my buddies about this, and the biggest thing is bombers are going to change the game entirely. All meta's out the door. Get ready.
Yep. It's going to be good. Now, the scoreboard that you get at the end of the match apparently now features... They're going to split the information into 2 tabs. There's the performance tab, which pretty much is what we see now. Kills, deaths, damage dealt, etc. And now there's an earning tab, which gives you a detailed breakdown of the requisition that you've earned during a battle and how it was earned. Because at the moment, it's a bit of a mystery. We know it's not connected to medals, but we don't know how. Now we'll know. So you'll be able to just flip to that at the end of a match and find out just where all your requisition came from.
Yeah.
And what to focus on if you want to ignore objectives and just... But anyway, I'm sure the only way to get the requisition is by doing the objectives. There's also now the battle record.
Never.
The personal Galactic Starfighter battle record can now be accessed via a button in the upper right corner of the hangar, that is, when you're not in the game. And features include detailed lifetime battle stats and the ability to link each stat to chat. Okay, sure. Yep.
Very nice.
All right. Now, the QR drive yards we already talked about. It's in a new category in the group finder called Tactical Flashpoints. I like to think that that means that there will be more, but currently there is just the one. Now, a few other quality of life things. You can now queue for war zones and Galactic Starfighter battles at the same time.
Yay!
Yeah, we had wondered why that
Hey.
wasn't working, and apparently there was no reason it wasn't working. So now it is in 2.6.
That's excellent.
Yep, a few other things. Quick look mode has been added to Galactic Starfighter, so you can now, it sounds like, use your keyboard's number pad. Hopefully there's also a key so you can use your mouse to actually look around as well. So quick look meaning that you can look around freely, not just in the direction of the target using the C
That's
button.
cool.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about that. The only other quick bind one I know about is the V to reorient yourself.
Well, that's new, isn't it? Auto roll functionality has been added. Press V by default to rotate the ship to the default orientation. That doesn't
Yeah.
exist
That'd be
at the
nice.
moment.
And that's the one that I wanted to mention when I was doing my what have I been up to this week. Auto roll. This equals mental shackles. Has anybody read Ender's Game? The enemy's base is down.
It was the enemy's gate, and yeah.
You're right, it is Gate. I'm translating the Star Wars apparently.
Mhm.
But I guess I should say I guess that a group of kids less than a group of kids from the entire planet Earth, less than 100, maybe a couple hundred in total, have ever qualified to be a part of that program. And I'm probably not that smart, so this might be a really good addition for all of us playing this game.
Why not? I've not felt the need of anything like this, but whatever.
It's something that, it's almost like I wish they might actually even wait 2 or 3 weeks after they release it to free-to-play. Because it's something that I really would have loved to have when I first started playing, but now I don't need it.
Yeah.
Up doesn't matter at all to me anymore, because especially your tip, Tio, more than anything else, the fact that you can turn faster by going up or down than you can going left or right. I've trained myself to reorient my camera all the time to make sure that I'm just going up. And that really works a lot, and I don't even care about orientation anymore. And since they put the A, B, and C around the outer circle, I just go after that if I need to change location or whatever. But I'm sure there are plenty of people that just want to know which way's up, so it'll make them happy.
Yeah. All right. Queuing for Galactic Starfighter battles no longer blocks character changes. Again, there was no reason why it should. So
Yeah.
that's nice.
So I can now spend my talent points.
Yep. They've beefed up the tutorial a bit. They've taken several force fields away from the abandoned shipyards level in domination mode. So that's a space map, and I know exactly where those force fields are around. We'll see from the default pub side. Yeah, good. Well, I don't know. I've sort of got used to it now, but I guess we all ran into those force fields many times. At least
Yes,
initially.
indeed.
Bowdar no longer wears a hoodie within the hangar.
That's
Okay.
important.
Okay, I've not seen this. Somebody please show me screenshots. I want to see Badar in a hoodie.
Well, you can see it right now, and you've got up until Game Update 2.6. So another 3 weeks, 2.5 weeks to
Unless
see
it
that.
has something to do with a certain piece of gear that they're wearing or something like that.
All right, there are a bunch of class changes, but what we're going to do is skip over them and save them for in 2 weeks' time when Jacob is with us again in episode 118. The reason for that is there may be further changes to this, and I'd rather we were talking about the set that's about to go live. So
Yeah, that's a good idea.
a lot
good.
of these were alluded to, and Jacob's already talked about the apparent nerf to orbital strike. Let me just scroll down. See if there's anything more. Okay, couple more things. Dread forces of Oricon are more distracted by the madness of the Dread Masters, and therefore their aggro ranges have been reduced. So for those of you who want to do the raids and haven't actually done the story on Oricon and thus have to make your painfully slow way on Oricon from the base to the raid, you should aggro less and die a lot less, hopefully. So,
Thank goodness.
Indeed.
I actually did. I finished the class or the storyline on my main so that I could get the thing, and then found out I also needed to do the 2-man. So I actually
Just
soloed
the 2-man.
Yeah, I soloed the 2-man, and yeah, so hopefully that won't be an issue anymore.
Oh, good. But it wasn't just you. There were others as well. I think Turg was still dying his way to the... he stripped
To the
naked
entrance.
to do the run.
Right.
I've never been to the planet with a character that I haven't actually done the quest line on. Quit being lazy.
Well, they still haven't fixed the quick travel point, so... yeah.
I've always been able to go there.
By speeder.
Yeah.
Yeah, by speeder, but
Oh,
not the
quick travel bind. Yeah, do the damn quest line. It's not hard.
I know.
It's even compelling.
Anyway, what else we got? Queuing for Warzones no longer blocks hangar changes, which makes sense. It's just the other way around. All right, and let's move on. Actually, looking at the time, there is an in-depth explanation about how bolster works from the combat team. It's more or less what we expected. I don't think there's anything really new here. I'll link to it if you actually want details. Jacob, was there anything you wanted to call out in the explanation that was a surprise?
I mean, I think it looks good, and their theory behind it's great, but gamers are going to be gamers. They're going to find a way to cheese it, you know. And the thing is, do I do it? Yes, because I want to be competitive, and you just pretty much need to do that. Unfortunately, you know, I don't like to do it. I want this game to be pure, you know, PvP. Personally, I would say eliminate gear. I mean, if that's what it comes down to, I know that it's a game you want people playing and doing that, or you eliminate gear from ranked, so everyone is kind of equal or something. So then you can really say, you know, hey,
in ranked.
I'm the top dog, and then give players something to grind for, or you know, something to work towards. I love working towards my gear because it's kind of fun, you know, get a new piece of Oberon and you're like, oh my god, I'm gonna just wreck everyone. Well, you're not really, but so if they could find a balance between those two things, that would be great.
The balance with what you have exactly just said is, if it doesn't have expertise on it with the current gear of any sort, whatever level, then bolster replaces everything that doesn't have a current mod enhancement, whatever, blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, a baseline,
And then
rather
the
than trying to
gear
be
you
clever.
earn through the grind of PvP impacts PvP, but nothing else does. Bolster is the purpose. You know, who gives a darn to what any PvE gear you have? If it's not PvP, bolster's a replacement. Period.
Yeah, I mean, we've used that idea before. All right, let's just talk about the Q&A. They got some more answers to questions from the combat team, just quickly. why does the bolster system punish the mixing of PvE and PvP mods? Because they don't want you to min-max using PvE gear in PvP gear. Of
Which you
course,
can.
That's
Just
yes.
throw a power crystal in your weapon. That's how people get around it. But
Yep. Many players claim the bolster is calculated while entering a match, and then you can switch stuff around, and that screws it up. Apparently, that's not true. It is calculated dynamically. That's just a rumor.
Okay.
It's something I think it might have a long time ago, but that's just not true at all anymore.
Yeah. They do bolster all stats, not just the primary ones, so all the secondary and tertiary, like endurance, crit, all the other ones, they're all bolstered. And are there any other factors beside class, advanced class, spec that factor into the calculation, such as what skills? And the answer is no, it's kind of dumb in that respect. They just keep it fairly simple, as you would hope, because you could just get crazy if you were taking all of the different abilities that that particular character had. Yeah, it's complicated enough. Let's not go there. Oh, and finally, I'll just link to an article that the actor who played Chewbacca in the original movies, he tweeted a bunch of photos. Apparently, he'd taken himself from the filming. They're classic.
Yeah.
Really, really good. So, worth checking out.
In fact, I retweeted some of them and, wrote a tweet to him saying how awesome it was. So, yeah, they're really good.
Yeah, I'm scrolling through these just now, and
I think he tweets under the Wookiee Roars, something like that. So, yeah, definitely check him out.
Twitter handle. Yeah, these are some great photos.
Mm-hmm. All right. And Chill, that's the news.
All right, that'll bring us to the community corner. And let's see. It looks like there's no Teeny Templars rating report. Just a quick
there
one.
is. Cal is away. He was on holiday, I think, in Melbourne. And so we had one from Jedi Cracker, which he can summarize as, we did Deborah's Courtyard and Dread Fortress weekly on Wednesday, had to pug a few spots, then Thursday only 3 turned up, so nada. That's pretty typical Cracker, actually. So thank you, mate.
All right.
And hopefully they do more this week.
Okay, well, that'll roll us right into the Force Feedback, where we read out your tweets and emails. And starting with Madmar at SWTOR Family, you got me to watch the intro to this 24-pack opening.
He recommends we watch it, and it is good. The opening of it. Well, actually, I watched the whole thing because it's a guy opening the new Hypercrate, but he did a special intro. Yes. Anyway, worth watching. Definitely worth watching.
All right, I'll definitely have to check that out then.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see. Joe Carmagna retweeted. This is dedicated to all the people who tweet obnoxious cat pictures.
And it's a picture of a brown cat with a bandolier, oddly looking like Chewbacca. So
that's awesome.
Yeah,
it is.
That's funny. A little bandolier.
My mom is one of those people that post annoying cat pictures. Love her, but man, she's don't like her Facebook account, please.
Straight up, it's the bandolier in the eyes more than anything.
Yeah.
Maybe I can get contacts from my dog, because she totally has a Chewbacca face, but definitely doesn't have those awesome eyes.
All right, Joe Ferran at Joseph_Ferran. Cutting it close. 23 seconds left on my PvP weapon resale. That is close.
So he's doing the weapon swap. As you know, you've got to trade them back within 2 hours. Oh god, 23 seconds. He said he logged in on Taris and he only had 90 seconds left, so he had to quickly fleet pass back and
vicious.
That would give you nightmares. Yep.
Yeah. Man. And let's see, Turg wrote us, you guys glossed over a good idea last episode while discussing how to have open world PvP events on a PvE server. The solution was to add a PvP shard on the PvE server during events. My question is, why not have it all the time? Rather than separate PvE and PvP servers with isolated populations, combine them. Consolidating the population would reduce ranked PvP queues, improve matchmaking and leaderboards, and potentially improve queue times across the board. Fleet and starter worlds would be unaffected, so the only difference would be contested worlds would always have a minimum of 2 shards, 1 PvP, 1 PvE, instead of 1. And if BioWare is afraid of rocking the boat, they could lock the shard types so PvP server characters could only play on the PvP shards and vice versa, but I'd prefer a flexible system that allows people to switch between shard types the same way they change shards now.
Interesting. Yeah, no, I would love to see this, to
That
be
would be
honest. It
fun.
means that people who actually wouldn't mind playing PvP server sometimes, maybe on a specific characters, could actually do so.
Yep.
But otherwise, if they just want to do PvE, they can perfectly safely. I mean, why not?
The raw concept on this actually is something I'm not sure why they haven't done it or why they wouldn't do it, which is you can log into your server type. The only reason that, as far as I know, the only technical reason that there's a PvE server, a PvP server, an RP server, and whatever type of server on the West Coast is because of these mechanical differentiations on planet surfaces. But beyond that, there's no reason why we shouldn't all be on the same server, talking to one another, queuing in PvP with one another, even going into operations with one another. But the leveling experience is really the only different technical difference, right?
Yeah, well, and also tradition, because MMOs have always split up.
Right.
There's that. That was
That's
why.
tradition,
And also,
but
the super servers can also only hold so many players. They're not infinite capacity. I mean, they should be, you would hope, with all of the ability to split off shards.
no,
But
this
these
is
things are
totally
not.
true. But that's why we have the whole sharding technology.
Even so, the database can only cope with so much. So
So
that's
okay,
why
so
we still
these
get
are
lag in some circumstances.
Hmm.
So,
because it really
ideally,
would be marvelous.
yes.
Like I log into my
Yes.
PvP server and I play my PvP style, but when it comes to any group content, we can just group up and play. It doesn't matter what server I play on in the open world otherwise.
JD mentioned physical location, so you probably want to have one on the East Coast and one on the West Coast. But you could
Yeah,
certainly
West
go-
Coast, East Coast, Europe, Australia, Asia, those things totally make sense to me. Latency issues and everything.
But otherwise,
But
yeah, absolutely. Why not?
it's a definitive
Well, no, why
definition
not?
of a mega server, right?
Yep.
Even different play styles on it. It's a mega server.
And the ability to have the player choice rather than like being trapped on a PvP server and having the character
Right.
transfer off. Yeah. Anyway, so yes, ideally, I'm doubting it's going to happen. Pretty-
At least not
Alright.
from BioWare and, well, more importantly, parent company EA.
Okay, Ben B at Ben_B55 tweeted to TO, I found this German data mining about the rat ghoul resurgence today, and he provides a link.
It's extremely detailed. Not that we condone data mining, but these guys have done an amazing job. Google
Mhm.
Translate does a reasonable
Reasonable.
attempt at translating the German, and
Wow.
really, really detailed. It'll tell you everything you apparently want to know about the apparent information in the alleged event, which may or may not be happening in January. So,
Right.
yeah. If you don't want spoilers, keep away. But, yeah. Anyway.
All right.
So if we are reporting on data mining, then sweet! I can't wait for the rat ghoul to show up. I haven't paid attention to any of this before, so I was hopeful, but apparently absolutely not.
Yeah.
All right. I'm Gregan at GregCarter78. Of course the rat ghoul event will start this week. I'm away on holidays. Murphy's Law. Have fun, everyone.
Oh, poor Greg. Well, it may not. They may
Didn't
delay.
happen yet. Yeah.
Yep. So there's hope. Not much, but there's hope.
Okay, so is there any kind of scuttlebutt word on how long it ought to last?
Nope.
Okay, because it was only a week the first time, is that right?
Oh, it was longer than that. It was
I
like
think
10
it was
days.
2 weeks.
Almost 2. Yeah. I think it started midweek and then went for another week up until server reset.
So just total this is my opinion. I really do hope they still have it be a stage daily type thing where it progressively includes more that you need to do.
I'm sure
But
that'd be lovely, but no. This is completely different from apparent sources indicate that it's just nothing like the
okay.
original. So this is
That's really a
looking.
shame. It looks like they're just not going to do those stage things, and that is what I consider a genuine event. Everything else is just recurring weekly
Right.
nonsense, so that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
All right, Force Chuckle at Force Chuckle tweeted absolutely golden episode last night, guys, and he was referring to episode 115, I believe.
With Bill and his financial tips, which
Yeah.
we can reveal you will hear more of next week on episode 117, where we are bringing Bill back.
Yep, and I did
tell us
buy
more.
I did buy some droid part
Oh yeah, droid parts are
missions
happening.
or abilities and started
So
making some of those on Cybertech.
wow,
Mm-hmm.
awesome
And not all of
ideas.
them are the same though. There's some that are like normal amounts, but then there's I think it's called parts, and the parts is the cheap one.
The 222. Yep.
Hmm. Yeah, it's pretty sweet.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It's pretty sweet.
I made a lot of the Mark 9. Actually.
And did you make a lot?
I'm up to 54 myself. I
54
haven't actually
million?
sold any. No, 54 kits.
Oh, kits.
Oh, no, I'm talking
That's
about the
still a lot of
money.
kits.
If
Oh,
you're taking
hell no.
the tips, are you making the money?
What about you, Chill? Has this increased your income?
Only a little bit. I've only been on a couple of characters that have the Cybertech this week, but yeah, it was pretty slick.
Okay.
So I'm yeah, and it's definitely something I'm going to be looking at for more characters. So,
Okay.
in fact, the next tweet is about this. Master Cow at KingCow666. After listening to OotiniCast last week, I made 2 million credits in 1 week, thanks to them and the credit machine who guest starred.
Poor Bill. I don't actually know if he'd mind being called a cred machine.
Or not.
Now, is he in your guys' guild? Is that how you came across
Oh yeah,
him?
he's one of our in our raid group actually. He's one of our techs.
Really? Yeah, that was great information. Great
Yes.
information.
All right, Gaddick Teague of the Unnamed SWTOR podcast at GTeague tweeted, "Thanks for the shout out in this week's show. I'm glad no one mentioned my niche for making money. Arms tech for the win."
So yeah, no one do that. Okay. So JD techs and lose his little niche, whatever it is. Whatever it is.
Right. He's found something that sells, so that's good.
Mhm.
Let's see. The Pummeler at the Pummeler tweeted to us, "Thank you for the thought on this week's show. It's not that I'm disappointed with the DPS changes. I've never had a problem with DPS. It's survivability. You can't DPS if you're dead. 2 smashed and you're done. We're still a huge liability in ranked PvP."
Now, he went on to say, looking at the 2.6 notes on the PTS, because he tweeted that previous one before it went live on the PTS, he said they're impressive. These changes should be great. Let it be known, he is not a flavor of the month. So he was a DPS operative before it was cool.
That's right. Yeah, and our top DPSer is a sneaky too, so he's just gonna get better.
There's a lot of people playing it right now, too. And even in rank, they're trying before the patch hits. I don't know. But, yeah, if you have no AoE reduction, it's going to be hard when you're a melee. I mean, you have to be really skilled at it. Pick off people who are in the back, time your CCs. Because just like this guy said, the pummeler, you get smashed, that's 10k.
You get
That's
done.
a third of your health, yep.
All right. Armor Gregan at Greg Carter 78 again tweeted to us, "Had 4 people in a row leave an arena last night before it started. Ended up playing 3 of us versus 4, and we won 2 rounds in a row. Wow. LOL.
Nice.
That is nice."
So that turned out well, but it probably shouldn't have. In any other case.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well done, Greg.
Let's see. Turg at the Turg tweeted to Bill Lentz, "Thanks for the great info on OotiniCast. I didn't consider crits, so I stopped max level slicing, and I only used Cybertech to gear alts."
Yeah, those crit bonuses are essential. for just squeezing out a few more, which and a crit giving you an extra whatever is just double your money basically.
All right, and finally, let's see. Brian Peters at Fenord3125 tweeted, "The Star Wars Minute podcast has returned this week with Empire Minute." Yes, I've heard about that. I haven't actually listened to it, but I know of this one. Each week they talk about 1 minute of the original movie, and they went all the way through apparently the original movie, and now they're going on to Empire.
Yeah, I only caught it towards the end of the Star Wars Minute when they were talking about the credits, so it went interesting, I've got to say. So, yeah, I didn't really get into it, but yeah, Empire Minute. So, give it a shot.
Very nice. Well, the first part of Empire is pretty sweet, so that should be a good time to get going on that.
Indeed.
All right. And no special Sarlacc Digest this week, right, Tio?
Correct.
So that will bring us to the end of the show. If you'd like to play with us in the Utini Knights Guild on the Republic side of the Harbinger server, or in our guild on the Empire side, do a /C
Utini Rage
to join the Utini channel. Then ask for the quiz that lets us know you're a fan of the show. You can email questions and comments about the show, including tips of the week, to OotiniCast@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter. We're on @OotiniCast. I Twitter under my own name, @Brandon L. Starr, and Tio uses his name, @Jason Etheridge. Jacob Twitters @TheRealHouseman, and Red Twitters @R3DN4, or you can watch him on twitch.tv/R3DN4. Check out our website, OotiniCast.com, which has links to our presence on Google Plus and Facebook. You can subscribe to us on iTunes. We're also on Stitcher and Radio 4 Gamers. Our theme song is from Mevio's Music Alley. Check it out at music.mevio.com. That's MEVIO. And thanks to the chat room, and thank you, Jacob and Red.
Thanks.
Thank you very much, sir.
And we'll see you next week.
Alright, guys. Stop your Audacity recording now. Press that stop button right now.
Done.
Thank you very much. Chat room, thank you for coming.
Yeah.
Right on time, in fact. Won't be too much of an editing nightmare. So, yep, thank you. We'll be back next week with Bill Lentz and lots of awesome tips about making money.
More money.